So what is list attrition? By definition, attrition is a reduction or decrease in numbers, size, or strength. And when it comes to your email list, there are some factors that contribute to attrition. So on one hand, in the red bucket, you have some of the attrition or churn that's a little more easy to detect. You've got your hard bouncing emails, you've got unsubscribes, and you've got spam complainers. On the other hand, you have inactive, or what some would call emotionally unsubscribed contacts. And now let's look at why it's a problem. I think the real big problem here is that it happens at such a high rate and it costs you money. So as we're looking at here, I've seen statistics all over the place, typically in the 25% to 30% range per year, 2.5% a month. That's a big number. Your subscribers are changing their email addresses, they're updating them, they're abandoning old email addresses, picking up new ones, and sometimes they remember to update their address with you, and oftentimes they don't. So a question to marketers really is, what are you doing about this problem? And as I mentioned, we'll unveil some ideas to combat it in the slides coming. So one part of that left-hand red bucket and a big contributor to attrition is bounces. So one thing is definitely certain when it comes to bounces. They're a major problem and they're not going away. We cleaned and processed about just over 3 billion email addresses last year. I looked at some of the preliminary data, and what it tells me really is that the number of email addresses that our clients either can't message or shouldn't message is not declining whatsoever. We're a hygiene company. It's great. I could break down a whole ton of reasons why it's great to remove hard bounces, but then what, right? Some of these folks are actually clients and subscribers that have purchased from you, that you've had a relationship with in the past. It's great that they're not dragging down your metrics and hurting your email program, but you're also losing the ability to contact them via email, which is a very powerful channel, which we all know. And it's a real big problem if you don't have a strategy in place to deal with this. In the other bucket, we have inactive addresses and the emotionally unsubscribed folks. I've seen statistics that are all over the place in terms of what percentage of the typical email list is inactive or dormant, but I think the big point here is that it constitutes a large percentage of most email lists. These folks are more valuable than non-subscribers, obviously. I saw some research from MailChimp that says something to the effect that subscribers order, I think, a quarter, 25% more than non-subscribers, so that's important. You definitely want to do what you can to maximize the value of these relationships, and you definitely don't want to forget about them. As we talk about ECOA and some of our services, I think it's the hard bouncing file is kind of a red light blinking indicator. You want to do something with those and recover those addresses, but I think it also is very important to look at your inactive file as well. So you've got a lot of bouncing email addresses, you've got inactive subscribers, so what? We're going to take a look real quick at why it matters. So first and foremost, as I mentioned a minute ago, email is still the most effective digital marketing channel. Every couple of years we see these new ROI stats. I think the most recent one I came across was email generating $44 for every dollar spent. That's pretty powerful right there. It's a super effective channel. It allows you to send exactly what you want to exactly who you want whenever you want to do it. And really the bottom line is that having all these bouncing and inactive addresses it's costing you money. Customers that you can email are definitely more valuable than those that you can't, and you want to be able to email as many of them as possible. Some of our clients have millions of customers that they can no longer email, and they have to resort to more expensive ways and more ineffective channels to reach out to them. It's, as I mentioned, it's always great when we can clean their list and remove hundreds of thousands of bounces, but they need something in place to reinitiate those relationships.